Look around you, the device in your hand, the lights in your room, the medicines that cure diseases, the planes that connect continents. None of this existed a few hundred years ago. Humanity's journey from primitive tools to digital intelligence is defined by a handful of monumental breakthroughs, innovations that didn't just advance technology but fundamentally altered the course of civilization. Today, we dive into 10 such leaps, each a turning point that reshaped society, economy, and the way we live. These are the sparks that ignited modern progress, from the engine that conquered distance to the code that created virtual worlds. But first, let's understand why these specific breakthroughs matter. They aren't just inventions, they are game changers that set off chain reactions, creating industries, transforming warfare, redefining human potential. By exploring them, we trace the hidden threads connecting our present to the defining moments of history. So, stay with us as we unlock the stories behind the 10 greatest breakthroughs that changed the direction of the world. In 1712, Thomas Newcomen built a crude atmospheric engine to pump water out of coal mines. It was inefficient, consuming huge amounts of fuel, but it worked. Then, in 1765, James Watt made a crucial improvement, a separate condenser that dramatically boosted efficiency. This wasn't just a better pump, it was the birth of a new era. The steam engine became the heart of factories, railways, and steamships. For the first time, human muscle and animal power were replaced by controlled, relentless mechanical energy. The impact was staggering. Goods could be produced faster and cheaper than ever before, populations began migrating to cities, and transportation shrank the world. Steam revolutionized manufacturing, mining, and agriculture, creating the modern industrial economy. It also sparked a cascade of innovations, new materials, precision engineering, and the very concept of mass production. Without the steam engine, the Industrial Revolution and the world we live in today would simply not exist. In fact, it is the foundation upon which nearly every other breakthrough on this list depends. While electricity had been studied for centuries as a curiosity, it was the development of practical generators and distribution systems in the late 19th century that turned it into a transformative force. Key figures include Michael Faraday, who invented the electric motor and generator, and Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, who battled over direct current versus alternating current. Tesla's AC system won out, enabling power to be transmitted over long distances. Soon, entire cities were lit by electric light, and factories could operate around the clock. Electricity enabled new inventions, the telegraph, the telephone, radio, and eventually computers. It also revolutionized home life, with appliances that freed people from endless chores. The electric grid became the nervous system of modern society. Think about it, without electricity, there would be no internet, no smartphones, no modern medicine, no refrigeration, no life as we know it. It doubled human productivity and opened possibilities that previous generations couldn't even dream of. In a very real sense, electricity is the blood that flows through the veins of our civilization. In the 1880s, Carl Benz patented the first automobile powered by an internal combustion engine. This compact, powerful engine used gasoline to create small explosions that drove pistons, generating rotary motion. Compared to steam engines, it was lightweight, efficient, and could be started quickly. The automobile transformed transportation, enabling personal mobility on an unprecedented scale. Roads, highways, and suburbs grew around the car. The oil industry boomed, and new business models like the assembly line, pioneered by Henry Ford, made cars affordable. But the impact goes beyond transport. The internal combustion engine powered aircraft, ships, and machinery, becoming a cornerstone of modern logistics and warfare. It also shaped our environment, cities designed for cars, pollution problems, and geopolitical conflicts over oil. While today we seek alternatives, there is no denying that the internal combustion engine changed the world faster than almost any other invention. It gave individuals freedom to travel, connected remote areas, and drove economic growth, but at a high cost. Before Johannes Gutenberg's movable type printing press around 1440, books were laboriously copied by hand, making them rare and expensive. Gutenberg's press used metal typepieces that could be rearranged and reused, enabling the mass production of books. The first major project was the Gutenberg Bible. Within decades, printing presses spread across Europe. This breakthrough transformed society. Knowledge that was once locked away in monasteries became accessible to the emerging middle class. Scientific ideas spread rapidly, fueling the scientific revolution. Religious texts in local languages sparked the Reformation. Newspapers and pamphlets created public opinion. Literacy rates soared. The printing press laid the groundwork for modern democracy by informing citizens and enabling debate. It also standardized languages and contributed to nationalism. In many ways, the printing press was the internet of its age, a disruptive technology that shattered old information hierarchies and empowered individuals. It is the first communication revolution that permanently altered how we share and store information. In 1928, Alexander Fleming noticed a mold that killed bacteria in his lab. He isolated penicillin, but it was a decade later that Howard Florey and Ernst Chain developed a way to mass-produce it, just in time for World War II. For the first time, bacterial infections like pneumonia, syphilis, and wound sepsis could be cured. Before antibiotics, even a minor scratch could kill. Life expectancy soared by decades. Antibiotics made modern surgery possible, because infection became manageable. They also enabled cancer chemotherapy and organ transplants. However, the overuse of antibiotics has led to resistant bacteria, a growing crisis. Nonetheless, the impact of penicillin is immeasurable. It saved millions of lives and reshaped public health, turning once fatal diseases into manageable conditions. Together with vaccines, antibiotics are one of the most significant medical achievements in history. They don't just treat individuals, they protect entire populations by reducing the spread of disease. As we face new microbial threats, the story of penicillin reminds us of the power of scientific discovery. In 1947, John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and William Shockley at Bell Labs invented the transistor, a small, solid-state device that could amplify and switch electronic signals. It replaced bulky, fragile vacuum tubes, enabling electronics to become smaller, more reliable, and more energy efficient. The transistor is the fundamental building block of all modern electronics: radios, televisions, computers, smartphones, satellites, and medical devices. The ability to pack millions, now billions, of transistors onto a single silicon chip drove Moore's law, which predicted doubling of computing power every 2 years. This innovation made the information age possible. Without transistors, there would be no internet, no personal computers, no digital cameras, no GPS. The transistor is arguably the most important invention of the 20th century because it enabled every subsequent digital technology. It transformed communication, industry, entertainment, and science, creating entirely new sectors of the economy. We live in a world shaped by this tiny switch. The Internet began as a military project in the 1960s, but its true revolution started when Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web in 1989, along with HTML, HTTP, and URLs. He made the Internet accessible and usable for everyone. Suddenly, information, communication, and commerce became global and instantaneous. The Internet connected billions of people, breaking down geographical barriers. It created new economies: e-commerce, social media, streaming, cloud computing, and transformed existing ones. It democratized information, giving anyone with a connection access to the world's knowledge. It also enabled new forms of collaboration, like open-source software and remote work. However, it also brought challenges: misinformation, privacy erosion, and digital divides. Yet, the Internet's impact on society is as profound as the printing press or electricity. It changed how we learn, work, socialize, and even think. In a few decades, it went from a niche network to a global nervous system, proving that connectivity is a transformative force unlike any other. In 1942, Enrico Fermi achieved the first controlled nuclear chain reaction in Chicago. 3 years later, the atomic bomb ended World War II and ushered in the nuclear age. This breakthrough harnessed the immense energy released by splitting the atom. Its immediate impact was terrifying: a single bomb could destroy a city. This changed warfare forever, leading to the Cold War and the doctrine of mutually assured destruction. But nuclear energy also offered promise. It produced massive amounts of electricity with no carbon emissions. Today, nuclear power provides about 10% of the world's electricity. Yet, concerns about safety, waste, and proliferation limit its use. The splitting of the atom demonstrated that humans could tap into fundamental forces of nature. It raised profound ethical questions about responsibility and the dual-use nature of technology. The atomic bomb and nuclear energy are a reminder that breakthroughs can be both creative and destructive, and that the choices we make about their use determine their true legacy. In 1909, Fritz Haber discovered a way to fix nitrogen from the air into ammonia, and Haber-Bosch scaled it up. This process, known as the Haber-Bosch method, allowed the mass production of nitrogen fertilizer. Before this, farmers relied on natural fertilizers like manure and guano, which limited crop yields. Haber-Bosch changed everything. It enabled the green revolution of the mid-20th century, where high-yield crops fed a rapidly growing global population. Today, about half of the nitrogen in human bodies comes from this process. Without it, the world could only support about 4 billion people, not the 8 billion we have today. This breakthrough is one of the most critical for human survival. It also had negative consequences: pollution from fertilizer runoff, greenhouse gas emissions, and energy consumption. But its role in averting mass starvation is undeniable. The Haber-Bosch process is a quiet giant, often overlooked, yet it literally sustains our civilization. The idea of creating machines that can think dates back to Alan Turing in the 1950s, but recent advances in deep learning, big data, and computing power have brought artificial intelligence into the mainstream. AI now powers speech recognition, autonomous vehicles, medical diagnosis, and recommendation systems. It learns from vast datasets, improving without explicit programming. This breakthrough is still unfolding, but its potential is staggering. AI could revolutionize healthcare, education, manufacturing, and scientific research. It may solve complex problems like climate change and disease. Yet it also poses risks: job displacement, bias, privacy, and autonomous weapons. The choices we make today will determine whether AI becomes humanity's greatest tool or a threat. As with previous breakthroughs, AI forces us to consider what it means to be human. It is the culmination of many earlier innovations: transistors, the internet, electricity, all converging. AI represents the next great leap, and we are living through its dawn. The story of these 10 breakthroughs shows that each builds upon previous ones, accelerating change. The future will be shaped by how we wield the power of artificial intelligence. From the steam engine to artificial intelligence, these 10 breakthroughs represent moments when humanity defied limits and created new realities. They teach us that innovation is rarely a single event, it is a cumulative process, where each discovery opens doors to the next. The steam engine powered factories, electricity lit them, the transistor gave them brains, the internet connected them. Today, we stand on the shoulders of giants. But the journey is not over. Future breakthroughs, quantum computing, gene editing, fusion energy, wait to be realized. The lesson of history is that our capacity for invention is boundless, but it requires wisdom to steer it for the common good. As we tackle current challenges like climate change and inequality, we must remember that human creativity is our most powerful resource. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the 10 breakthroughs that changed the world. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel for more explorations of the ideas that shape our lives. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a single idea. Thanks for watching.